What happens to your heart when the person who was supposed to be your safe space becomes the source of your deepest pain? My friend, who is also a survivor, recently discovered that the man she had built her entire life with had been living a double life. She was completely devastated. He had been living a double life for 3.5 years. Hi, I'm Sherry Burgraff, and welcome to Arise and Shine podcast. I want to talk to you today about something that doesn't get talked about, honestly, enough. A survivor friend who I absolutely love, a woman of real faith, courage, and survival, recently discovered that the man she had built her life with had been living a completely double life. What does happen to our hearts when the person that we love deeply is the one that betrays us, rejects us? He was a Christian counselor who ministered to survivors like herself. He was having an affair with one of his clients the whole time. If that doesn't devastate you, what else will? If something has shifted in your heart, in your chest, if you felt that, stay with me. Because this is not just her story. It may be closer to your own than you know. They had built something real together, a home, a family, their faith. I can remember when she sent me a video of them closing on their first house. She was so excited. I can remember seeing the joy in her face, the excitement in her voice, and she took the key and was unlocking the front door, and I saw him open the door for her, and I thought, wow, and seeing them walking in together, and I can just imagine that feeling of like, we made it. This is our first home together. And then everything shattered because the man who came home to her every night was not fully coming home to her at all. He was a Christian counselor, which makes it even worse somehow. Someone entrusted with the most broken, most vulnerable people who walk through a therapist's door. Think about that for a minute and let that sink in. He was trained to recognize trauma. He knew the language of wounds. He knew what abandonment does to a person. He heard it all the time. He knew what it feels like to be unseen. And he used every bit of that knowledge in that office for the other woman, for her. While my friend, the woman at home who had survived her own darkness, sat alone in a house full of people starving for the very thing he was giving away to someone else. You could call him a healer, but he didn't come home, even when he did. He would sit on his laptop. He would be on his phone doing the paperwork that he didn't get to at the office. My friend is a survivor of extreme abuse like I am, and a woman who came to have healing became something she never should have become. He would hold her and comfort her while she cried in his office. And then, while his wife, a survivor, was right there when he would come home, in the same house, starving for the connection that we all desperately need. She noticed the difference. When my husband and I went there for a visit, we noticed the difference. It was like he was quietly pouring something somewhere else. And I just thought he had bad boundaries with work. She is a very strong person. She has a lot of independence. She knows what she wants in life. But she's also able to be interdependent, where, she just wasn't clingy and needy, and she'd done so much of her own healing. But she also wanted connection, or at least affection from him. What woman doesn't? And that strength, the very thing that he could have just honored, became the thing that made it easier for him to keep looking away. Because the other woman needed him desperately. A dependency that was probably not healthy, never therapeutic, never okay. She was married. And even though he and my friend lived together, in all ways, he was supposed to be in a committed relationship, even though they never got married. What happened in that office and in whatever space grew beyond that office was not just marital betrayal. It was a profound ethical violation against a vulnerable woman who came to him for healing. It was also a betrayal of his wife, of his children, of his calling, of every survivor who has ever trusted that a person they come to is safe. My friend and he had children together. Now, she showed me pictures after they had their baby, and by everything that you look at with a picture, it looked like they were happy. Now, he has lost his job as a direct result of these choices, and his client's husband found out and called all of this out. The police got involved, which could now affect also not just him, but my friend and their 2 children. And there's legal ramifications. They all have to live with the consequences of his choices and indiscretions. I just support her and love her and encourage her through it all, and pray with her. But people around her were quick with advice. Just leave him. Get rid of the bum. As if it's that simple. But nothing about this is simple, because she doesn't just have a relationship to grieve. She has children who need a father, a home, a life woven through him with all of this, and a heart that still loves him, even while it is completely breaking. Here's something she understood that a lot of people might not be able to hold. She knew he carried unhealed trauma wounds. She had seen them. She had felt them. She knew that he had rough edges when they met. She had compassion for that, but here is the thing that she had to live inside of. And maybe you feel this tension too. Understanding why someone hurts you does not erase the reality or soften the rejection or the betrayal or the pain. It helps to understand, but that's about it. It doesn't help you make decisions either. It doesn't excuse their behavior at all. This is where the church, and they may have the best intentions, I'll give them that, but sometimes get it so wrong. We either reduce it to it's sin, walk away, end of story, or we over spiritualize it into just forgive and trust God. Both of them are responses, as true as those 2 pieces might be, can leave a shattered person with that heart that's breaking, feeling more alone than before they asked for help. As I sat with her, praying and crying and just being present with her in what felt unbearable for her, something opened up in me too. It took me back to about 4 years ago, where I had a knee replaced, and as a survivor of extreme trauma, the pain that I was in, the physical pain, and just everything about the situation where my husband was caring for me 24/7, and all the people that we were friends with just thought, he's got this. I became so triggered that I started having trauma responses, and I had such lack of sleep. And before long, it was like maybe by the second week, I was being triggered so often and having hardly any sleep that my husband started yelling at me, and he became the person that not only caused me harm, but he truly let me down. He called 911, and I ended up going to the hospital and being in the mental ward for 16 days. I know what it is to feel such betrayal for the person who I thought knew me and would protect me and do anything for me. And we had to, if we were going to work through that and have a marriage, we had to do a lot of work and a lot of talking to have that solid ground again. We've been married for 32 years, but I'm not here to tell you that my husband and I are perfect, because we're not. We're still together, and that didn't happen by accident. It happened because of God's grace, real grace that I kept giving him, the kind that costs something. So what do you do when the person who is supposed to be your safe, significant other becomes the spouse or the boyfriend that wounds you deeply? How do you stay without losing yourself? How do you leave without losing everything? How do you even hear God clearly when your heart is just breaking and aching, and the noise in your soul can feel so devastating or deafening? I don't have a how-to or a formula, but I can tell you what worked for me and for my friend is working for her. My friend said something that I have not been able to stop thinking about. She said, God will be with me and my children, no matter what I choose. And I won't soften what she's going through. She's in turmoil, and then she's choosing to live life and work on it and go out on dates, and he's going to a support group for sex addiction, but she's having to grapple with, what is going to happen if I choose to have him leave? Will I lose my home? Am I going to be the cause of my children and my family falling apart, even though those were his choices that he made? So the kind of faith that I'm talking about isn't something you see on a greeting card, and it's not a Christian cliche. It is faith that is forged in fire. Because the question underneath all the practical questions is not simply, do I stay or do I go? The deepest question is this: who is God to me right now? And who am I? Who am I becoming through this? And that is the question that changes everything. I want to say something about trauma because it gets left out of too many church conversations, too many Christian podcasts. Trauma creates a split between the head and the heart, a complete disconnect. Trauma creates a split inside of a person, not just in your mind with dissociation, but a complete disconnect. You can know what is right and feel completely unable to live it out. You can want closeness and feel nothing but numbness. And when a person lives in that split long enough, they will reach for something, anything that closes that gap and creates relief from the pain that's there if they connect too long. Affairs, control, addiction, any kind of escape. Not because they don't know God, but because they have never allowed God into the places that still are hemorrhaging emotionally. I say this not to excuse what was done. I say it because understanding it is part of the healing process too. But hear me clearly. Someone else's brokenness is not your assignment to fix. Sometimes people become counselors because they are broken and they think that if they fix other people's lives, they don't have to look at their own pain in their own heart. You can have compassion without being consumed by it. You can understand without tolerating harm or abuse or sin. And God never called you or me to disappear so that someone else can stay the same. So where do we go from here? First, bring your real self to God. Not the version of you that has it all together. The version of you that is furious, devastated, confused, undone. God is not afraid of any of it. We might be afraid to hurt the person that's hurt us. We might want to do them harm. But God is not afraid of any of that. He has seen it all, and He is still here. Second, face what is true, admitting the problem. You can't heal if you keep minimizing or denying it. Truth is painful. Yes, my friend's boyfriend, significant other, had an affair. 3.5 years. That is the truth, and that is the only door that leads to somewhere real. My husband, who knew me, should have known what I needed after being with me all these years. He harmed me by making a choice to call the wrong help. He needed help, but he didn't reach out to anyone. Third, do not make permanent decisions from inside that devastation. Shock is not clarity. Give yourself time to breathe before you decide anything that can't be undone. Fourth, get safe support, a counselor, a trusted friend, someone who can hold this with you. You were never meant to carry things like this alone. And fifth, let God restore you first, before the marriage, before the relationship, before you have all the answers, before you know how the story is going to end. I know that we all want to know the unknown, and we want to know how things are going to turn out, and we want answers. Let God find you right here where you are and restore you. If what I shared today is touching something in you, something deep, perhaps long unnamed, I am writing another book, Returning to Your Heart, Relearning the Pace of a Child for the Heart That Learned to Hide. It's a 12-week healing journey written for anyone who has had trauma, who had to grow up too fast, for the ones who learned that needing things was dangerous, for the ones whose heart went quiet just to stay alive. It's not a workbook. It's an invitation to come back slowly to yourself, safely to the you that existed before anything was done to you, and learning to live the pace of a child who was finally allowed to just be. Our own heart was never meant to be disconnected from us. We weren't meant to live just in our head with rules and regulations that religion puts out there and Bible verses that say, okay, I have to live this way. Our heart is where God dwells, within us, where our emotions are, where our desires and hopes and dreams are that God put in us. He didn't want us to be disconnected from that. And we have a personal connection with God when we are able to connect with our own self. That is the only way to have true intimacy, but it doesn't happen if we're still disconnected. That child is still in there. She never left. She's just been waiting for someone to make it safe enough to come out. Returning to the Heart will be available this year on Amazon. I will keep you updated. In closing, I would like to say, God does not waste devastation, but He also does not call evil good. He doesn't ask us to pretend, but He is a God of restoration. But restoration never bypasses truth. It is finding you and Him in the middle of it all. To my friend, you know who you are. You are not what He did. You are not the sum of any of His choices. And this moment does not get the final word in your story. God is not finished with you or Him or your family. And to you watching this right now, maybe you came from my friend's story about her significant other leading a double life, but something in you recognized it as part of your own. Maybe it wasn't a counselor or an affair. Maybe it was a different kind of betrayal, a different face, a different wound, but the same devastating pain and emptiness and questioning it all. The same silence where love was supposed to be. The same question you are carrying alone. Why wasn't I enough? What was it about me that caused them to betray me? You were always enough. It doesn't mean it was about you. And the love that was withheld from you is never a reflection of your own worth. It was a reflection of someone else's unhealed wounds. It doesn't excuse anything that they did. That distinction may just be the beginning of your healing. If something stirred something inside of you today, don't let it go quiet again. That stirring could be the Holy Spirit, and it's not random. And it could be your heart finally recognizing the smell of bread after a long famine. Follow your heart, but follow God within your heart. Christians say the heart is deceitful above all things. And yes, our heart, our feelings, our emotions can tell us things that are not even true. Follow truth, but you don't have to disconnect from your own heart. And also follow God, follow Jesus, and He can lead you to safe people. God is always waiting at the door of that place in our heart. You're never alone, as you may have felt. And healing, real healing, is possible for you. I believe that 100%. If you liked this content, like and subscribe. Comment the words, "I've been betrayed," and share how if you want to, and I will pray for you. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. My name is Sherry with Arise and Shine podcast. God bless you.